Hello, this is Lex from Dead Gentry, and this is a Goodwill treasure hunt. If you guys enjoy these little videos, please take the time to hit the bell doohickey thing and subscribe and like, thumbs button, all those things. We really do appreciate it. It really does make a difference to us. So this was a 50% off sale day. I don't really pay attention to those. When I'm in there, I'm going to buy an object that's valuable for the right price, whether or not it's on sale. So I don't really pay attention to the color coding at Goodwill. Always take the time to look through the costume jewelry. This is a location that does take all the nicer pieces that it finds and puts them into online auctions. So they're not available in the brick and mortar location. So any of the best donations never end up on the floor, but they do often miss things. And sometimes they're not aware that, say, vintage costume jewelry, certain signed pieces, and even unsigned pieces like Bakelite bracelets can be valuable. So you can still find those things if you take the time to look through the quote-unquote junk jewelry that's left behind. So I always take the time to look. On this day, there wasn't anything there. There wasn't any Bakelite or very nice vintage, nothing was really calling out to me, but you should always check. I always check. It's worth looking for. It is tough with them putting everything in online auctions these days, though, I have to say. It's difficult, especially for, the collectors and the resellers out there that take the time to go thrifting, which is effort. It takes a lot of time. It takes gas money, right? We're always kind of like, when we discuss it, when us resellers get together, especially in online little Zoom meetings, why can't they leave at least a few things in the shops for us? Not everything, we understand, but maybe they could leave a few of the nicer pieces for the people that actually show up in person, even if they're going to say silent auction them or something. This Goodwill doesn't even have a gallery section. It doesn't have a display case where they put nicer things. There's literally just no nice things are allowed in this store. And that seems really unfortunate. And I think it actually lowers the demographic of patron that this Goodwill gets. Fewer people are less likely to spend money in this particular location because there's not nice things there, because they take all the nice things out of the shop. So it's just something to think about. I don't know. I'm just screaming into the void, I guess. I don't think Goodwill's going to listen to this. So these are the bins that are at the end of the aisles. Always worth looking through. I talk about this a lot. Take the time to open the purses and bags. You can find cash in there. You can find different things that have been donated, that have been left in the purse sometimes, like vintage toys. It's worth looking. And if it did get missed by the people putting it out on the floor and it doesn't have the price, sometimes you can ask and they will put a price on it for you because it was missed. So it's worth looking through these things. Also, sometimes in the bins, you find very strange things in the store. On this day, there was odd sprinkler heads that were partially broken. There were kitchen faucets in boxes, like half of the pieces, but not all of the pieces. Here I found a Betsy Johnson purse. Betsy Johnson, this one worth about $15 to $20. You'll find these sorts of things on the Depop app as well. A lot of people resell those there. Betsy Johnson can be worth more money if you see the purses or handbags that have the skull collection, the carousel horses. You're looking to $50 to $150 for those, and you can find them. A quilted piece like this, smaller, it's more of a side body bag, $15 to $20, but still worth picking up. Check to make sure it doesn't smell. Check to make sure those zippers work, and make sure the inside is clean. That piece checked off all the boxes, so I did take the time to pick it up. There's that kitchen faucet I was talking about. It's strange. I feel like, does anyone else ever feel that sometimes people are donating things to Goodwill that really should get thrown out? Like half-used candles, or donated to a recycling place rather than to a Goodwill donation? You know what I mean? That people can't let go of things and they feel like it's better to donate broken things than to throw them away. There's always things in these bins that should not be there. I don't think Goodwill is to blame because they don't have the time to go through all of it meticulously all the time. See, that's like a sprinkler head. Maybe someone can use that. I really think the chances of someone picking that up, because it's the perfect replacement piece, because it's not a full system that you could actually just go use. It would just be for basic parts, like one or two of those parts. Who's going to be picking that up? Again, like, I use Swiffer. I don't, a broken, damaged, partially used, easily replaceable mop, I don't know that anyone's going to ever purchase something like that, especially if the handle's broken. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one seeing this. I just get the sense people can't let go of things sometimes, and this is their way of letting go, but it actually just makes more work for people like me in the Goodwill. I thought that little pillow was adorable. Save Santa the trip, be naughty. The time to buy Christmas things is in October, or even better, in June. And the time to buy Halloween things, again, is in July. So you don't want to buy in the season. If you're trying to save money, and if you're trying to find more collectible objects when other people aren't looking for them, so there's more of them available, even online, or in, say, a Goodwill, or at yard sales, things like that, go out and buy them when no one else is picking them up. Little vintage wood lacquer music box here, not worth, depending on the quality of the musical movement, maybe $15 to $20 on its best day. Not really worth picking up to have to ship in a 6x6 box. That's another thing to think about. If you're a reseller, I'm more likely to pick up lower value items if they're easy to store and ship. But if it's a lower value item for its approximate size, say like a big board game, then it's going to need to be worth more for me to bother to pick it up, because it takes a lot more space to store, a lot more work and materials to ship those sorts of items. But if it's a little brooch or a silk scarf and it's only worth 10, I might if I'm getting it for $1. So there's a sort of a finesse to it. I guess you really have to think about what your personal profit margins are. I know sometimes most of our patrons consider this, but not all of them. When we say purchase something for $1 from a yard sale, those are great little wooden puzzles. Unfortunately, from a store like this, you don't know if all the pieces are there, and I am not willing to put them all together to find out. But if you ever find them sealed, they're worth picking up. When we are buying things for $1 and say then selling it for 10, and people go, well, why can't you buy it for $1 and sell it for $2? Because I have to pay for the gas to get to the estate sales and yard sales and the Goodwills. I have to pay for my time, which I am rarely paid for. Rarely do I actually make my time, where I'm getting a salary of some kind to myself for the time I've spent finding this inventory and acquiring it. And then you also have to think about packaging costs of materials, taxes, overhead for your businesses, fees if you're selling them on online platforms. All those things come together. And see, I didn't pick up the board game. I didn't do it. It's too big. That's the sort of thing I might put in our Whatnot toy room. But on this day, we already had a big stack in the toy room. I remembered before I left. So something that large, I'm not likely to pick it up. But when all those factors come together, suddenly the item isn't $1. It's costing me, say, $8.87 or $9.12 at that point, and then I'm selling it for 10. So if you think about it, my profit margin is very, very tight and small. So you have to kind of finesse your time, your shipping, how big something is, how heavy it is. All of those factors, if you're a reseller, really come into play, and you should be thinking about. Now, if you're a collector, I'm out there saying buy. Like, if you're coming across the vintage toy that you collect in a Goodwill, just buy it. Don't think about it. It doesn't matter if it's big or small, because you're not trying to ship it. You're not trying to resell it. You don't have to account for your time, right? You're just saving money, getting it less expensive for your own collection. Treasure Lost Lands pieces. These are fun. They were $1.99, and two of the three, I think, did have all their figures and swords inside. So again, $2 into 15, they were a little large, but worth putting in the toy room. They display well, they're pretty, and they add something new to the toy room. So I did pick up a few of those. Looking around, not really seeing too much else here. This was, I don't remember what that was. I think it was a little doll, I think, but it was, yes. It wasn't It was vintage, but it wasn't a good maker. It wasn't a very fine piece. It was a little rough and damaged. And I think it was overpriced as well. I think they had it a little too high for what it was. Put that one back on the shelf. The toy aisles here are always so full. Ooh, it's little Zuru. The little Zuru smashers, those can be collectible even though they're contemporary. So take the time to pick those up if you see them. Those are fun little toys. These aisles, that was not a little person. Some little people can be collectible. That was not a little person, so I put it back. But these are so messy, it's really hard to look through these. Even to find the larger pieces, you have to move things fall off the shelf. It's just kind of chaotic. I have to admit, there are a lot of times when I go to the Goodwill, that's a video game piece, those can be expensive to purchase new. But I'll sometimes avoid these aisles because of the chaos and the mess, and I just don't want to deal with it, and it takes a lot of time, and if you don't find things, sometimes it's a time game where it's not worth the amount of time you spent searching when you come away with nothing or almost nothing from the toy aisles. The same thing with the electronics and metal aisles. That's just not my thing. I kind of stay away from those aisles. I call them the junk aisles because usually it's a lot of half broken storage containers, lids, odds and ends from people's homes, like shower caddies and stuff. I'm not saying don't go buy those from Goodwill if you need one. Like if you need a shower caddy, get one from Goodwill. They're selling them at Target for $30. You're gonna find one at Goodwill for $2. It's the exact same one. It's perfect. You can use it. You can sanitize it if you want. Pull that plastic out of the waste stream, give it another life. But if you don't need those things for yourself, those aisles are really kind of hard for a reseller to make use of. At least that's what I find. I know some people who are really good with electronics can scour those shelves for things like remote controls and alarm clocks, but that's just, I don't have that knowledge base in contemporary electronics, so it's really hard for me to do. Here I was looking through the Christmas section, not really finding anything. Lots of decorations. Again, if you're going to go shopping at a place like Michael's or Joann's, I like this Halloween skull, but the base was broken. I guess you could still use it, but I was hoping it would have the little stake so it would go on the ground correctly. But if you're going to go shopping at fabric stores for things like ribbons and wrapping paper, Goodwill has those things incredibly inexpensive. Pet peeve, the people who are donating half-used candles. Why are you doing this? Throw the candle out. Goodwill's sitting there trying to resell them for $5 to $8. It's not normal. No one's going to spend that. Little Precious Moments figure, dual figure for Christmas. Those do have some value. I find that the nicer figures that I pick up do move quickly, but a figure like that usually takes a little too long to move. This was a little vintage Eskimo with the blinking eye movement. Not Madame Alexander, just a vintage piece by another company, but she was broken. Her quality was not super high, so I put her back. Her neck has some real damage going on in the hard plastic that just was not repairable. But who's donating the half-used candles to Goodwill? Can we discuss this? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? There's like less than half an inch left at the bottom. Just throw the candle away. I don't understand. I don't understand why you're making us pick through that. Not much left on this shelf. I looked at this little skiing bear simply because I'd never seen something before. So that's how I learn sometimes, especially with more contemporary things that I don't have a lot of knowledge in. I have a pretty good memory, so I can kind of look at the base of a piece. If I'm lucky enough to find a maker or a year or its place of origin, I can keep that in mind to research later. Or I guess you could just Google Lens it in the store. If you're a collector and you were like, should I pick this piece up? You could Google Lens it in the store. Sometimes the internet doesn't always work in these places, so that can be a little bit tricky. Inexpensive glass. Probably a threshold piece from Target would be my guess. Took the time to look at the glass, a lot of inexpensive glass. Again, if you ever need vases, mason jars, things like that for art projects, for decor in your home, if you want to paint them yourself, pick them up from a Goodwill. If you're not going to a Dollar Tree for those things, you should be getting them from Goodwill. If you're just looking for regular glass vases, Goodwill has got you covered there. These were interesting. They're glass accent poles in 5 different sizes, so you could like size from small to large. I can't use them, so I didn't pick them up, but I thought they were interesting. Here you're going to see Sakura Galaxy 24 karat gold plate set with the star pattern. I actually own some of these in blue and in the red. These are nice pieces if you can put together a whole set. I think they're fun. I like to take them out around Christmas time or New Year's just because they've got the 24 karat golds. They're shiny and they're bright. And they store very easily. Plates store easily, so I have some nice plates. But you can resell them as well. Those are actually, for the amount of money you'd be spending on those, I think they're 99 cents a plate, but they're worth more like 10 plus each. They're worth picking up and reselling and shipping. Remember, when you're shipping plates, you can just slide cardboard between each one. Oh, and a little 1970s piece here. Almost looks like treasure craft. But this is a made in Japan piece. Great little piece. I think I did pick that one up. Don't really see that style online very often, of that particular one. That blue glass was contemporary, not vintage. There's another one of those Jubileum vases that I picked up the week before. I almost wonder if someone vases vases, depending on how fancy you want to sound on any given day. I almost wonder if someone had multiples that they donated at the same time. Wasn't sure what that was. I thought it might be Pier 1 because it kind of had that art vibe to it. Lots of tourist stuff. That's a tourist treve. A little ceramic tile from Wisconsin. Back to the cart we go. The little blue Ewok in there for 99 cents or 69 cents or something like that. Nothing really of any major value here. That wasn't real Amberina up top, that orange glass. All of these pieces are contemporary. There's milk glass. That's Anchor Hawking. That is a grape compote. Those pieces actually worth at least $25 if you want to ship them, if you want to store them. I sell them. When I pick them up, they do sell from the Etsy shop. I didn't pick it up that day, but sometimes we do. I tend to pick those up more towards spring. I find a lot of wedding venues, planners, and people having weddings pick up milk glass to use as wedding decor. The Homer Laughlin teacup, we have to vent a little bit here and discuss. That would be a nice teacup set to pick up with just the one teacup and saucer, except that they have covered it in masking tape, which is going to remove all the gold detailing from the rim on the cup and the saucer. So it's going to damage the entire piece. Removing that tape will damage the piece. So not even worth picking up, because now it's not worth $25 to $30. Now it's worth more like maybe $8 once you've damaged it taking the tape off. I don't know if you're going to donate things. I don't think Goodwill did that to that piece because of the masking tape that was used. I think it was donated that way. If you're going to donate things, please don't tape them with masking tape. If you must tape things together, use painter's tape, but even painter's tape will remove gold detailing accents and damage things. This Disney mug, some Disney mugs can be valuable. This one had been used. I only pick up mugs when they're brand, like you can tell they're brand new and unused, so no scratches, original stickers on the base, really incredible condition, that sort of thing. So I did not pick that one up. But some are worth it. And then just the amount, I can't help it, the amount of waste in North America. Look at all these shoes. People just buy shoes and wear them almost not at all, and just endless shoes being donated. It just adds so much stuff to the waste stream. It just bothers me. Great little cookbook here. Actually, more of a touring book than a cookbook, really, because it was about her touring, I think, with her husband around the countryside. I did check the books on this day. I didn't find anything really valuable. In an earlier video, I showed that I have found very valuable books in the kids section. So again, always worth looking through that area. Sometimes good stuff gets mixed in there, and some kids books can be valuable. You could find a first edition Shel Silverstein. That's a valuable book, or a first edition Where the Wild Things Are. Again, very valuable. So worth checking, but I didn't find anything on this day in that area. I think we're getting towards the end here. Gonna head towards that cash register pretty soon. Got my little ceramic mug, got my little toys. Pretty happy about that. Again, if you enjoyed these videos, feel free to hit like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks.